Hello, I'm Hallowed Silence, and today I want to talk about simulation theory. First off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a minister of Preach Life Ministries. If you like what we have to say, if we make you think, if you would like us to feel motivated to continue this quest of knowledge and understanding and spreading it throughout the world to give others hope, then please donate a coffee, whatever you like, to the link in the description below. And I'll say thank you very much. Very much. Anyways, let's get back to the topic of the day. Simulation theory. Okay? There is a growing theory some of you may be aware of in quantum mechanics called simulation theory. And the reason they have this theory is kind of simple. The universe kind of acts like a simulation. When we study it at the quantum level, we find particles popping in and out of existence. Just they're here, then they're not, then they're here, then they're over here, then they're down here, and then they're back in place. You know? Same quantum information, just in different spots. Different recordings when we record the measurements, which may be something in instrumentation that we use. I'm not sure exactly on the full schematics of the measurement device, but we have some pretty clever engineers. I'm sure they pretty much thought of almost everything, at least. But anyways, particles pop in and out of existence all the time. And when we look at what's called the double slit, sorry, not split, I mess that up all the time. The double slit experiment, what they did basically is they took a slit like this, right? But where my fingers are the holes of the slit. And right here in the middle is where where the laser was pointed in the solid point of the slit, double slit experiment. And what they wanted to do was see how it recorded on a photon multiplier on the back end as the waveform passed through, whether it was going to act as a particle or a wave. So they set up the double slit, they set up the photon multiplier in the back, and they hit it with a laser. And what they recorded was a waveform. It had different slots varying from side to side, top to bottom, and they all slit up. There was 8 of them in total of what they recorded. And it all acted like a wave as each photon hit the photon multiplier. Now, the way a photon multiplier works is that it works on particle theory. A single photon will hit a tiny, almost like a solar panel type material. I forget exactly what it is. This is all off the top of the head. That's what I do. That's why I do short videos. And the photon hits the multiplier, and then that multiplier sends out electrical signals to get a readable signal to extra multipliers around it. So a photon hits a multiplier, and then it sends out an electrical signal which gets sent out by the other multipliers to register a photon. Okay? Smallest light particle we can detect. And so this recorded a wave function, and they wanted to figure out how the photons were deciding on where to go, because they were appearing at random in random spots, but when they fired them one at a time, they kept showing up in random spots until they eventually got a wave pattern anyways. So what they did is they set up I forget what it's called. It's a device that allows you to it's basically another photon multiplier, but it's electron. It's just an observer. I forget exactly what it is. You can look it up on the double slit experiment. Sorry, I'm not making this a little more interesting. Let me get to the root of the base here. And when they observed to see which photon was going in which slit, when they actually observed it, it acted like a particle, and there was 2 slots all the way down instead of 8, like a wave. And 2 slots went down when they observed to see which photon which was going through. So you get the wave-particle duality. And what we learned from the wave-particle duality is that waves collapse their wave function based upon observation. And the observation seems to be, according to the experiments, whether it will be needed to be observed or not. You ever heard of Schrodinger's cat? What that basically is saying, everything behind me does not exist unless it is observed. I'm observing it through my screen from my camera facing behind me, but it is not observed. What I don't observe doesn't seem to exist. If it's not observed by anyone, it will just poof. And then when you need it again, poof, it's right back in place. Crazy quantum mechanics. Crazy quantum mechanics. Anyways, and also what comes with the simulation theory is one last point. Entanglement. Quantum informational entanglement. What this means is the information stored inside of a quark or a photon or any type of particle whatsoever. It doesn't matter which particle. But the information stored inside the particle can be cloned when you put it through certain crystals with photons. And you can entangle photons and entangle their information by flooding light through a certain crystal. Now, it's a little spooky, but what happens is that once you break the entanglement, you measure the information in this one. Breaks the entanglement with this one automatically, just by taking a measurement. Now, I come to the point where we can use this in space travel, right? Because we can entangle particles, and particles can be held still. And if we can entangle particles and not destroy their entanglement, then we can use that for a one-way binary message. Like say we're in a spaceship and we got to send out a message to Earth. Hey, mayday, mayday, I'm going down. Here's my coordinates. Come get me. We can send out a quantum information entanglement break by putting the ones and zeros based on the entangled particles. And then you can send a message with your coordinates to Earth to be rescued. And it would be sent instantaneously because the entanglement would break. How you would be able to measure that, I don't know, but that is a good theoretical way to do that. But let's get back to simulation theory. Now, because particles pop in and out of existence, it doesn't seem to take form of any type of physical form. A wave particle does not collapse unless it is observed. And the entanglement of particles can be measured at instantaneous and instantaneous distances. Meaning, as soon as I break this one instantly. No speed of light, no nothing. I mean, literally, instantly over infinite distances will de-entangle. Really brings you to the fact that you got to think about all we really are is quantum information and waves in a void. We are electrons, we are thermal energy, which is a black hole, and we are seemingly, I wouldn't say simulated. It's more like a wonderlation, because the light, as we know, is Jesus. And so while it may seem that the light is simulating what we want to see and show us things, it is still his soul. And it is still a living wonder, not necessarily simulation like you would think like a computer. More like a living God, making your finite reality possible for you. We also get into cosmic forces when you deal with these kind of things. If you think about what all the cosmic forces are, well, the only ones that we could really know of is the shadow, the void, the electron, and the thermal energy, or the black hole. There's really only 3 cosmic forces that are revealed. Now, we all believe in the Bible, which has an afterlife, somewhere beyond infinity, and a God, somewhere beyond infinity over heaven. And we all often refer to that as God, as in not necessarily a multiverse of shadow, but an omniverse of all realities. And that would be heaven, as far as we know, an omniverse. So if you were to go in the link of, like, from the bottom, the core cosmic force, to the theoretical God that we all believe in, it would go Jesus, an electron, Higgs boson, spirit, the void, the shadow of the Almighty, and then it would be heaven, the omniverse, all realities possible. And then it would be God, the invisible Lord, the dwelling of all. And that's kind of my theory, my growing theory. I am a believer, hardcore. I do study everything, science. Knowledge is the fruit of the gods. And I hope you'll join me in my quest of the never-ending quest for omniscience. Because knowledge is power, and there is no knowledge that is not power, and no mistake that is not wisdom. And so, if knowledge is power, omniscience is omnipotence. And the more knowledge you have, the more power you have. And the more power you have, the greater you are. And so that's what I'd like to bestow on you today, is some knowledge, something to think about. Leave your comments in the section below. I'll try to get back to them if you want to reply. And remember, if you like what I say and you like what we're doing here, then please donate a coffee, donate a truck, donate a galaxy, donate a universe or two, and help me out. And I will definitely be motivated to continue my mission to do the best I possibly can, to do the best for everybody. God bless you. Save the day. Goodbye.